Hey, I hope you're all having a good day. It's a beautiful day today. Every day is a beautiful day when we choose to see it. Have you ever manipulated an outcome? I think I have. Not an outcome, but a result that already happened. I changed my grade one time in school because I was afraid of being spanked. But yeah, not that. That's already a result. But an outcome. An outcome is a result, right? What am I saying? Anyway, have you ever manipulated an outcome? And this is a sign of control. We're all waiting, we have all waited, and sometimes during the wait we get weary of waiting, and then you start seeing things. And that's what some people are like, yeah, God has told me. Sometimes it's because of weariness, like you're so tired, and you start imagining things. Any good thing you see, you're like, oh God, is that you? Are you saying yes to this? Shall I take it? And most of the time when we don't pay attention to the Holy Spirit, what happens? We go through to this thing that we thought God, it's actually a good thing, but it was not your answer. It was an answer for someone else. Of course, we've seen that sometimes you may go ahead with it, but it's not what God intended for you to have. So what happens is you have it, but it doesn't last, or it's taken away from you. But anyway, we're talking about manipulating our outcomes today. This is out of control, tired of waiting. You start trying to fix things your own way, instead of closely spending more time with Him, and then discerning that, okay, that is not the one. I know it looks exactly like what I promised you, but it's not the one. Because there's a difference between claiming it in faith, the way we say, I claim my healing. You might be so weak, like let the weak say they're healed, let the poor say they're rich, that is claiming in faith. But there's manipulating and turning it so that you're taking it and it was not meant for you or the right time for it, because God had not approved it yet. You're not forcing it, you're not forcing the outcome. I'll give you an example. So there's babies who are born and they're drinking milk. Even the Bible talks about drinking milk and eating bones. So a baby, when you try to feed a baby, a newborn, I think up to them 6 months, when you're feeding them milk, they just drink. They're just there, in total surrender, drinking the milk, not even holding the bottle, nothing. They're just there. Only the mouth is open and they're drinking. Now you feed a 6 month or a 7 month and so forth. There's no way you're gonna feed them and their hands are down. Their hands are trying to hold the bottle. If you're feeding them food, they want to put their hand into the food and feed themselves, which is good when you're trying to teach. You remember we did experience is the best teacher. So when you're trying to let them experience how feeding is, even though they will not get it until they're older, you let them feed and pick pieces, but it takes so much time. Like, I do that on weekends when I want them to learn independence and have the motoric reflex of holding small things. You do that when you have time, take one thing and eat and it. But if you know that this process has to happen in a certain time, you don't let them eat by themselves. You feed them, even though they try to manipulate or take control of the feeding regime or routine. You still have the lead, and that's us with God. When we are babies and we are in surrender, we are drinking that milk, not holding the bottle. But when we think we are wise, and because a child who is 1 has seen the world in their own eyes, and then they've seen you eating with a spoon, so they also think, oh, I can also eat with a spoon. And that's us with God. We think we know it, like Job tried it with God. It's like, I know you, oh, I know. And God was like, you know me? It's like, how do you know? Were you there in the beginning when were you commanding the depth of the sea and telling the sun where to stand? Does the sun rise? I'm paraphrasing here. Does the sun rise and tell you I'm here? That's when we think we know, and we are trying to manipulate and taking the lead and taking control when God is trying to feed us, instead of just surrendering and saying, God, yes, I just want to be held, I just want to be fed by you. But there's a difference. We need to sit there and surrender. So stand and see the salvation of God, but in passive, not so passive faith. So you're still acting in waiting and in trust, but not just waiting. Oh God, I will just wait for you to show up. Oh, I will just wait. No, that's not what I'm talking about. If you're a baby, yes, then that's how you need to wait for God, but not us as Christians. Not taking control. So we need to act in faith, but not taking control. So the problem is not with the babies. The problem is from toddlers and to adults, where we try to take control of everything. And the thing is, when the babies try to feed, or us, let's use the example of the baby, they think their way is easier. But as the parent, I'm like, you know what, Amira, leave the spoon. I'm trying to feed you here because I know she's very hungry. And when I feed her, she'll eat faster and she'll be full faster. Instead of this one rice, she wants to eat one rice at a go. So me as a parent, I know what's good for her. And God maybe always has like the best route to his promise, the best route to the promised land. Just like the Israelites, how long did they take them to finally reach the promised land? Going around and round in circles. Because why? They wanted to feed themselves. So let's not try to feed ourselves, to take the spoon from God, grab the spoon from God when he's feeding us. Because it's like we are micromanaging, we are micromanaging God and his routine of feeding us. Yeah, the Israelites, we saw this. They wanted a king by force. Like, oh, we want a king to be ruled over like the other nations. Okay, go ahead. What do you get? You get Saul, who leads you into not seeking God and the opposite side. So God will let us. He will let us. Sometimes if we are tough-headed, he will let us do it. But then we need to come out of realization and give them up, give the control issues up, but not give up, So give them up, the control, the lack of surrender, which is actually the same thing. I'm just repeating, but give them up, but not give up in passive waiting, in waiting for waiting in surrender, total surrender. So stand firm and see. It doesn't say stand firm and sleep and be hypnotized, or stand firm and not be aware of what's happening. No, lay there, see how you're being fed, see the process, so that you can be able to tell it how it came. So yeah, let us we need to pray and tell God, you're sovereign, you existed before time, you existed before me, you know everything that is about me and the calendar of my life and everything that will happen. I exist because of you, so you are first and I come after you. Okay, not in that same level, but he's there before us, and we owe it to him, and we cannot repay him. But how we can repay him is from gratitude and just worship and living a life of total surrender and total gratitude. So we don't deserve his grace and mercy, but he still gives it to us. So I pray that as he feeds us, we will let him hold the spoon. We will stand there firm and in faith and receive what he has given to us. God bless you.